Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 56, the show where I give you my opinion on some of the biggest stories in the world of cord cutting from the past week. Now, this is my opinion. If you want to know more about each story, down in the show notes, down below, I have links to each story where you can learn more about them. But let's dive into this. First, though, a real quick housekeeping thing. With it being summer and some scheduling conflicts, I'm going to try this out on Saturday for a little while. It just works better with my schedule right now. So let me know what you think of that. I'll love some feedback on the dates and times. But every week we'll be here, even if it's maybe one day off. So let's dive into the stories. Right now, there's a lot happening in the world of cord cutting. It's growing faster than ever, even faster than people expected with how strong the economy is. When the economy is this strong, people expected cord cutting to slow down. Well, we have some new research coming out right now that says cord cutting is going to top 33 million Americans by the end of 2018. Now, that's probably not surprising to many cord cutters. I've long said the cord cutting is probably 5 million to 30 million, and according to this report, it's probably around 25 million, which does not surprise me. Now, it's very possible we won't hit 33 million. I do think 30 million is a very safe number to say in the growth of cord cutting, and expect that just to continue to grow. Now, yeah, money is a big part of cord cutting, but it's also about the changing habits of Americans. People are saving money, but they also want to have more control. They want to access programming you can't get with cable. Several studies have shown that over half of cable subscribers also subscribe to a on-demand service like Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon. And that's because House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Last Chance U, Stranger Things, the new Tom Clancy show coming out soon. They're all programs you cannot get with cable. You need a streaming service. But there's even more to it than that. Another study came out that says, from eMarketer, that says the average American saves over $1,000 a year with cord cutting, about $85 a month. That's a pretty impressive number right there. If you look at it's just on its face value, no matter how much more complicated it is well worth every penny. And like we talked about last week, even with the $5 price hike of DIRECTV Now on Sling and PlayStation Vue, you're still saving more with cord cutting this year than you did last year at the same point. Because cable, in many cases, $10 to $15 a month, you saw price hikes. So even with that, minor price hike in cord cutting is still saving you now more money this year than you did last year. So keep that in mind. You're going to hear a lot of stories. You know, cable's getting desperate. They're going to try to do everything they can to convince you that cord cutting is more expensive. That's one of my favorite all-time stories. Oh, you know, cord cutting costs more than cable. Really? That's your best argument? You know, I can show you I'm saving over $1,000. I'm sure you're saving money. And for the vast majority of people, cord cutting will save them a ton of money. So keep that in mind. It makes perfect sense why cord cutting will top 30 million American households. Let's keep on going. With the growth of cord cutting, lawmakers are kind of taking notice. And there's a new bill in the United States House that would make it easier for cable companies and streaming services like DIRECTV Now, Sling TV, Hulu, and others carry locals. This new bill would eliminate retransmission fees, which basically means that if a channel is free over the air, that Hulu, Sling, all these places could also retransmit it to you for free inside that market. There's still some limitations without having to pay your locals a ton of money. Locals account for about $12 of your TV bill. That's why Sling TV starts at $25, DIRECTV Now and others start at $40. Most of that being the fact that Sling TV is really kind of built for people with antennas and allows them to save a ton of money. So keep an eye on this story. It's been proposed a few times, but basically this would roll back the regulations on locals to what it was back in the 90s when Comcast and others could just carry them without having to pay a ton of money for that privilege. Now, the National Association of Broadcasters and others are surely going to be upset about this because it's a pretty easy chunk of money, because even if somebody's not watching your channel, you still get paid. The other part, though, is Comcast, Dish, AT&T and others are very excited about this because that means they don't have to pay for the locals. So there's definitely going to be a battle here with the two different sides fighting it out. It should make for some good fireworks there. But there's a very serious effort to make it so that if the channel is free over the air, that you'll be able to access it through a streaming service. And this is what killed Aereo. So remember, Aereo was the service that they would have an antenna. You could buy rights to that antenna and stream it over the internet. And they'll just stream you that particular antenna. And that got shut down because they said, no, you're a service, you have to pay retransmission fees. Killed Aereo. This bill would make services like Aereo legal and once again possible. Hopefully maybe a rebirth of Aereo. I know they've sold most of their technology, but it's very possible that that could come back with that. So keep a very close eye on this. And there's other bills happening in Congress right now around cord cutting. As more people watch streaming services instead of watching locals or cable, there's a bill that I think is actually not a bad idea to have Netflix and others build in the emergency alert system. I know a lot of people say, well, it could be on your phone, but I think there is a real need for this because often when people are binge watching, they turn their phones off or they're just focusing on the TV. If a tornado or other emergencies happening, wouldn't it be necessarily a bad idea to have a little icon maybe pop up? Maybe it would be like 3.0 where the icon pops up, you can click on it to get more information or you can dismiss it. So that would be an interesting way to go about it. But you know, as cord cutting grows, you're definitely seeing it take an impact even at the highest levels of government. Speaking of cord cutting growing, that's kind of the theme of this week's show. CBS is launching a new free over-the-air TV network. They want to take advantage of all the growth there is in the world of people using antennas to access their content. And they're launching in partnership with Weigel? W-E-I-G-E-L. I probably butchered that, my apologies. Broadcasting company to launch a new channel called DIRECTV. This will mostly rely heavily on CBS programming, will air on tons of CBS stations and a few others across the country, and it will focus on dramas with strong female characters and leads, including The Closer, Medium, Good Wife, Crossing Jordan, Cold Case, Profiler, and The Division. So keep a very close eye on this. We're seeing this more often, especially as 3.0 gets closer. With the new 3.0 standard, you'll be able to have a ton more sub-channels. So that means you still have your primary CBS channel, probably the CW, a lot of CBSs carry the CW, and then there'll be a sub-channel, one or two more additional ones. So in this case, it could be the CBS news station, the Start TV, available there. Now, it'll be available in over 40% of the United States at launch, with more channels coming soon, and will include markets like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, Dallas, San Francisco, Atlanta, Boston, Seattle, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Minneapolis, Miami, Denver, Sacramento, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, just to name a few. So really all the big ones and a ton of other ones out there. Even smaller markets will be included. So keep an eye out for this, launching later this year, and it will be a great option there. I know some people will be like, I don't like any of that. But for other people, this may be great content that they can get now for free. If you have a DVR, like a Tablo, TiVo, or Channel Master, Plex, whatever else you use for your over-there DVR, hey, you can DVR a ton of content here and build up a catalog of stuff you own you don't have to pay a monthly fee for. So just keep an eye on it and look for more channels like this to be launching as 3.0 gets closer to going public. It's really great to see big companies, even like CBS, saying, you know, we need to invest in over-the-air TV again. And they're doing that by bringing more content there. They're doing that by, you know, supporting the launch of 3.0, so that new standard, which will bring 4K, better penetration, better coverage in the United States, and more sub-channels here. So you'd be able to have 5 or 6 of these channels per, you know, you could have 3.1 always through maybe even 3.50 theoretically. I'm not sure you really get 50 per one, but you theoretically could. So let's keep an eye on this story. Tons of news happening here. I'd link to all these down below. I'd love to know what you think. What do you wish to have happen in the world of cord cutting with over-the-air TV? When did you cut the cord? Leave me a comment. I'd love to know when you cut the cord. Are you part of that the growth of 33 million this year? Have you been a cord cutter for a long time like I have? Leave me a comment. Also, hey, how much money are you saving with cord cutting? Leave me a comment. Let me know. Thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. See you back next week, Saturday, right here on our YouTube channel. But make sure you subscribe. Tons of great content here every week.